I'm now in a bedroom, so that's new.
Oh yeah, yeah. Last time you were in a big ass studio. Last time I was on a million billion years ago. But sure.
No. Well, now I'm in a bedroom because the studio is a bedroom now too. So everything is a bedroom.
Ron, I like your lower third. Traitor.
Nice.
Okay, I'm going to. I didn't socialist yet, but I'm going
I'm
to
totally
in a minute.
not centered on this camera, am I?
Spreadsheet here. I'm gonna delete. No, I guess I won't delete that one.
You guys,
we have to discuss it.
I was going to tell
I'm
my
gonna
own
delete
secret,
the blank lines.
but I won't. I'll tell you after the show.
So many secrets.
Okay.
I'm going to be releasing something, and it's secret.
You're gonna release a watch? Is that
Yes.
what's gonna happen?
I am. How did you know? The analysts were right.
Yeah,
Liam watch. It's actually just Liam's clock that sits on his floor with a giant belt attached to it.
You know,
The thing that's especially interesting about it is instead of the watch rotating with the time the bezel does,
the whole thing just
Wow.
the whole thing rotates, just like
That's-
your watch,
the-
just
the
like
hands,
your clock does.
The hands stay stationary and everything moves around it.
actually probably, like, I'm sure somebody has actually made that watch.
I could probably whip one up in Watchmaker in about 30
If
seconds.
you spend enough time subscribed to Dazine, then you'll definitely see it.
I'm going to socialist and wait. You already posted that one recently. Did I already post it? I don't remember posting that.
I posted it under your pen name. My pen name is David Rudnick.
Liam, stop.
No, let him impersonate you. You might be able to convince Twitter to verify your account or
It's
something.
not.
No,
It's
I
not
didn't
impersonation.
post that
It's just,
recently, Buffer. You lie, Buffer.
it's just that's my pseudonym. I don't know what to tell you.
It looks like you posted that link recently, so Buffer won't let me post a link that I like when I teased the podcast earlier. Now it won't let me post it again. Thanks, Buffer. You're a jerk. Okay, I've got to do this manually.
Like a caveman. You
I
gotta
know.
post to Twitter without a
Going back to
custom
the Stone
format.
Age of like a month and a half ago. Okay. Go ahead and make sure that's all set to go. And we do, I think, have a sponsor this week. Let me look at the calendar. Okay, socialing, 6:30. God damn it. Facebook, why do you pull the oldest version of a link? I don't even know where Facebook gets these ancient, like, this text. How does this text exist? Like, in what form?
It's Facebook.
I guess.
All right, guys, I'll be right back before we start. Hold on.
Okay.
You have to buy into their ad platform to update your text.
Let's see here. Podcast. Yes, we do have a sponsor this week. Okay. Get that queued up. Okay. And hit the record button. Test. Okay.
Here we go. My lower third has been enhanced.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Does that comply with brand guidelines, Ron?
Sure, yeah.
I'm gonna have to get in touch with somebody and
At Condé Nast headquarters? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's good. They don't know we exist. It's fine.
in 6 to 8 weeks I'll get back to you with their response.
Right. You could mail them a letter with a stamp. Someone.
Okay. All right. I think we are ready to go. Possibly.
Wait, I'm not ready. I'm just kidding.
I want to know where this sudden turn of events came in that everybody's all pro Neapolitan instead of noodle.
Well,
I
hey,
was
we
thinking
were
of that.
all noodlers at heart.
Noodle is
But-
not a sugary snack. That will not work.
Yeah, that was never going to
Hey,
happen.
but carbohydrates are a form of sugar.
But
Wow.
they're not a simple sugar, and I think we all know what Google's getting at here.
Are you using the Cat S60, Ryan?
I am, yes.
Have you bludgeoned any small animals
Look at
yet?
this. I'm not supposed to show this to anybody. It's under embargo. This thing is ridiculous.
Oh,
I mean,
my
everybody's seen it,
God.
And
No.
look at, I know, but okay, and look at this. I know they added an embargo after the fact. It's really weird. And look at like just on the back. That's where the SIM card and the SD card go. in the-
Wow.
That's awesome.
And it has, I don't know if you can see,
God.
it has these little switches on the top and the bottom that when you flip them up, it goes from 2 meter water resistance to 5 because it actually seals the chambers for
it's
the microphone.
So
and your
rugged.
What?
And so they're like, if you put it in 5 meter mode, your phone calls won't sound very good, but you can do it.
Wow.
It's insane.
Impressive.
I know.
All right, are we ready to start?
No. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to take it as a yes. I'm going to do the pre-roll. This week's Android Please podcast is brought to you by Linode. Check them out at linode.com/Android Please for a free $20 Linode service credit.
Welcome to the Android Police Podcast, your weekly audio source for all things Android. It is Thursday, June 30th, 2016. I'm your host, Matthew Smith.
I'm David Reddick.
I'm Liam Spradlin.
I'm Ryan Whitlam.
And I'm Ron. Hi, I'm here.
Yes, so
Did
smooth.
we get everybody? Is everybody...
Everybody, I think, is accounted for.
All right.
It's good. Good. So hey, we got lots of moderately exciting things to talk about. That's how we're gonna pitch it tonight.
Moderately
Lots of
exciting.
Moderately.
Not very
Yes.
exciting,
Have
just
some
like
incredibly exciting things to talk about. I don't know what you're.
Well, everything that overwhelms this week will be equally underwhelmed by the new Android N name. So that's how I figure it's moderate at best. So all right, so we're gonna start off with that Android N. We have a statue on the lawn. It's not their best statue.
The statue is the worst part of this whole thing.
This may be the worst Android statue yet. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, Honeycomb was a stretch, but at least it was like, you could appreciate the effort that went into it.
hang on a minute though, because gingerbread had nothing to do with anything. It was just literally gingerbread man.
That was weird. They didn't even
but,
put
it was a
on it or
nice
something.
looking gingerbread man, I guess,
They
maybe.
didn't try to make it look
Claire.
like a buck droid, though.
Yeah,
Personally, I think that the Kit Kat is the best. It's the cream of the crop,
I
personally.
like that one because
The
it was
Kit
a
Kat
real
was
candy
pretty good.
bar.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
actually
Kit
looked like what it was. Yeah,
Kit
the
Kat-
last three.
Ice cream sandwich was pretty good too, though. Ice cream sandwich looked like an
Yeah,
ice cream
that was
sandwich.
That was nice
Yeah,
too.
that one was good, too.
And jelly bean was a little weird, but they
It's
tried.
fun though. I mean,
I
they
saw
just—it seems like they're not trying anymore. They're just androids with like the thing that is the name.
Yeah, I saw the picture of this and it did not click that it was like, oh, this is the new statue and those little things he's standing on are nougat.
It took
Yeah.
me because I assume everybody else is watching David Carr's Periscope of this
Yes.
as it happened, and when they unveiled the statue, I was like, "Wait, is that what's it? Where's the?" It
Right,
took me a
where's
good
the candy?
50
Okay, so
that's
seconds.
a joke.
That's the new android-themed bench that they've put up. Where's the statue?
Yeah, I thought that they because I didn't see the nougat bars there immediately, so I thought it was just an Android statue and they were just being jerks. The whole
And, like
thing
as
was a
soon
giant
as,
joke.
as soon as they took the cover off, one of the guys sat down on it to see, look guys, it can be a bench too.
Because they knew
Android, yeah, I guess.
So, okay, so they had the voting for the Android N name. Did this actually win the vote? Is
I'm
that-
sure it didn't, and
I'm
they didn't. And they
pretty
were
sure.
never going to use a suggestion for
Yeah,
that. They already
I'm
knew what
pretty
they
sure
were going
that
to
the
call it.
vote was not real, and also people were making bots for the vote too. So no, that never had a chance.
That's definitely a good use of your time.
My guess is...
I love that they put out an open call for these sugary snack names that start with N, as if this is a difficult question to crack, or as if there's only, not 5 suggestions and that's it.
There's one right here on my screen.
Yes.
Neapolitan would have been almost frighteningly apt.
It would have been so good.
So good.
Frighteningly.
Okay, and so like I know we're probably gonna get used to nougat and like
No, we're not. That's not
like,
gonna.
look,
I
it's-
refuse.
I mean it's gonna happen eventually. Like you're gonna have to type that word 1,000 times in the next month.
What we don't know is that David is still bitter about Google Play.
I was going to say, that we eventually got used to typing Google Play, didn't we?
Oh, I don't know. Some people did. Some people didn't.
Have we gotten over Google Reader yet?
Well, I mean, in the sense that it's been dead long enough that I don't think it's coming back to life. I think that's the only way people have gotten over it. But yeah, this name is, and the statue is so just. So the progression has been from, they started with Lollipop with the bug droid holding the lollipop kind of off kilter, which is
And,
kind of fun.
It was playful and fun. He was
Also
like
had
doing the
fingers for some reason.
And-
I don't know.
It was
Yeah.
he was throwing an Illuminati hand symbol, obviously.
Yeah, a bug droid with fingers. And then Marshmallow was like, oh, wow, wait, what? And
he's just like carrying it like a box. Like here's the marshmallow you ordered, dude. Where do you want me to set it down?
yeah, my arms are like, T-Rex-y. I need to drop this marshmallow. Somebody
as
just
if a rendering of like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was not like the perfect thing to do for that statue.
No.
Or even somebody in the comments was like quoting Google. They were like, so a marshmallow is the exact size and shape of the bug droid's body.
I know.
What should we do with that to integrate it into a
had,
statue?
We had that contest last year or whenever where people sent us like Android art stuff, and that one guy sent us the background with the the marshmallow
God.
character Android, and that's still I love that. I
I
still
use
love
that
it
as
so
my
much.
wallpaper.
I know, me too.
And it was
It's
so
good.
perfect and cute.
That
And
definitely should have been the.
it had a little fire and it was like brown on the front. It was amazing.
Good.
Whoever that was, if you're watching, like, you brought so much joy into my own.
I just think that the oh wow, I completely forgot what I was gonna say because somebody misspelled my name in the chat, and now I'm just completely.
I think
No, I think
aflutter.
they were
I'm
talking
pretty
about
sure-
my pseudonym.
I'm
David
pretty sure you were going to make fun of the nougat statue now.
No, I wasn't gonna. That was not next on my list.
I want a nougat bar with little androids inside. Where did Ron go?
No, he got sick of our bullshit. That was quick.
I can't blame him.
He's got the nougat disease.
Here we go.
Ron?
I may have closed the wrong tab.
Oh, good. So it wasn't Hangouts causing a problem. Well, that's
Wow.
like rare.
I mean, pro tip: whenever you do something wrong, you just blame it on Hangouts. Everybody will believe you.
I was trying to access chat and was like, oh, I don't need these other tabs. Close. Nope, that was wrong.
Okay, I remember what I was going to say. So my conspiracy theory is that there is some now, because Google seems to have picked back up on using the bug droid in a lot of advertisements and especially commercials and stuff to do with Android. And I feel like somebody like on the marketing team is like, listen, you can't like morph the body of the bug droid anymore because that's not on brand message.
I totally believe that. I totally believe some marketing person is like, don't, like, they have guidelines for how to use the bug droid, and it's like, do not desecrate the form of the bug droid.
That would make me
I
so
really
sad.
think that's what it is. Like I am honestly like deeply concerned that Google has lost all sense of fun around the bug droid. And
So
that it's
every
just now a little marketing device.
Every statue from now on is gonna suck just really bad. Then it's just gonna be bug droid holding candy.
Well,
It's
somebody
so
in the
sad.
AP chat was joking, like, next year it's just going to be the bug droid holding a sign with the word written on it. Like,
Yes, I said that actually.
Ryan said it. He's here.
Good job, Ryan.
Yeah. Or
Funny
you know,
joke.
next time they're just gonna put up the statue and the sign will be interchangeable, and every year they'll just change the sign out to the new one.
It'll just be a reader board with the letters that you can slide in.
Yeah,
from the
it'll light up. They'll just have a console inside where they just type in the name every year, and it just
And then-
flashes.
Even the Android statue will be waiting for updates.
The statue runs KitKat. Sorry, it's an embedded system. There's only so much you can do.
Oh, and so the second part of this is that if anybody even cares, it's Android 7.0. So it went from
Neat.
6.0 to 7.0 with no .x.
What
in
happened to the days of Jelly Bean where we cheated the distribution chart by combining multiple API levels?
It's weird though because that means Marshmallow is the first version of Android without a .x release. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just different.
Yeah. Yeah. Did they only had 601, right? That's the only.
Yep. So we had, so it goes 1, 1.1, 1.5, 1.6, 2, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 3, 3.1, 4, 4.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.1, 6, 7.
Did you just pull out a memory, or do you have that written down somewhere?
I actually wrote it earlier today. So
I'm pretty sure there was a 3.2, wasn't there?
was there? Was there a 3.2 and
There
3.1?
was, yes.
I think there was.
Okay, I
Yeah.
missed one then. All right.
It might have been not in order.
Also, 3.2 was like a special thing, wasn't it?
I'm sure that was a thing
Like,
that
it was
ran
only-
on like two honeycomb tablets that nobody wanted.
Yeah,
it
right.
might have come out after 4.0 as like an update for those tablets that they had abandoned.
Yeah,
Honeycomb.
maybe.
Those were the days.
I honestly
I
forget.
would also like to do a rundown of all the gingerbread versions because there were numerous.
That went up to 2.3.7. Ooh.
Yeah, wow.
Man, that
So
was
many
a
patches.
lot of problems.
Finding like the good old days of finding Signage and Mod 7 ROMs that were updated to the latest gingerbread level.
Yeah,
I
because you
remember
had
one of
money
the-
come out there, and there's nothing to bridge the stopgap until Ice Cream Sandwich, and so
One of the gingerbread updates, like the only thing it did was added video calls through Google Talk.
Yep. Yeah, those were the days.
gingerbread. When we had like figured out, oh, maybe we should just put these in like a store or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe
where
we
they
should
started
change the
putting
name of the
everything
store
out.
while we're at it.
Man, I cannot join chat at all. Just
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah, it
pretty
takes
buggy.
forever. It takes like 45 to 60 seconds after you
Okay.
hit start.
all
So
right,
just
I'll
wait.
just let it cook then.
Yeah, it's
The
weird.
Galaxy. So the Galaxy Tab 10.1 got 3.2.
Oh, Cody points out a very interesting gingerbread factoid. .7 added support for dual-core processors. I think we talked about this on a previous episode. But yeah, because there was it was the Droid Bionic chip with the dual-core processor and the Motorola Atrix chip with the dual-core processor.
That's right.
And
I had an Atrix. It was a huge mistake.
I know. I wanted one so bad. I was so ready to go wait in line for that phone, and then I was like, maybe
Wait,
I'll wait.
That was the one with the laptop
laptop.
lock thing,
Yes.
and then
How about the laptop?
it had Firefox when you were in the Linuxy thing.
Yeah, it was like
Dual core, it's totally future proof.
So yeah.
Yeah. So that's Android N. All right. So next we have Marlin specs. So this is of course the larger of the two Nexuses that we're expecting this year. HTC built. We talked a little bit last week about the Sailfish. Is that what the last week one? Sailfish, the smaller Nexus, and Marlin this week. So we got some specs there. So let's talk specs. Let's talk about specs, baby. You and me.
Well, I mean, I guess I would say that, the specs are basically like what we saw with Sailfish, but bigger screen, higher resolution, and bigger battery. And so the names are actually kind of making more sense now because a Marlin and a Sailfish, it's like basically the same fish. I'm not even actually sure if sailfish are smaller than marlins. Maybe it probably depends on the species of marlin, because sailfish are in the marlin family, but there is types of marlin or something.
This
But
is
maybe-
the kind of in-depth analysis
Yeah,
that
this
I
is,
tune into Android Police for.
Yeah.
This is actually Fish Police podcast. You're in the wrong place.
I started to look into this, and as soon as I saw that like one was marlin and marlin is like a so I guess you could say marlin is the family, and that sailfish is I'm not sure if it's a
Google knows the
species.
answer to this.
It probably does.
Billfish is the family including sailfish and marlin, which make up the family Istiophoridae, and swordfish, sole member of the family, as if I'm not pronouncing that.
So
Yes.
it's
They're the same fish, they're just different kinds of the same fish.
Yeah,
Oh,
so they're
okay.
different species of fish.
They're
So
both billfish.
yeah,
very clever.
so that would make sense in terms of they're basically the same phone, but different. And
It's
so-
interesting that you guys don't specify the SoC. Like you can't just guess and say it's going to be an 820.
No, because we don't think it is going to be an 820.
Really?
So our
An
problem
820
is
by
right
any other
now.
name.
Okay, so I'll release a piece of exclusive information for the podcast that we didn't want to publish because it's just too,
Breaking
Qualcomm
news.
is, let's say, shitty at naming their products.
Yes.
So I would say that the piece of information we have right now is a chipset MSM 8996, which is an 820 Pro. But there's no reason to believe that Qualcomm's going to release an 820 Pro because they got away from that naming scheme ages ago. Now, internally, they may still use that naming scheme to indicate that the same basic SoC, but with beefed up clock speeds, perhaps. And there's also reason to believe that there are two chipsets ready to come out: the Snapdragon 821 and the 823. And they might be two different chipsets, but they might be the same one, but they're probably two different ones. And the reason these are slightly different than the 820 is that they're going to Samsung's fabrication. So this could make a difference in terms of yields and in terms of bins, like how easy it is to extract stable clock speeds from the yields. So
I thought they were on Samsung now.
Not yet. I think the current 820s are not Samsung yet. And we actually got a tip about those cargo manifests, especially from India. The people look through the cargo manifests for all these customs orders. So there is a customs order for this is getting really in the weeds. An MSM 8996 SG part, 2 parts, and SG obviously would be Samsung. So switching the process could be a significant change in performance, actually. If they feel like the yields are better, that they can get more from the chips on that process on average. So I wouldn't say they're necessarily overclocked 820s, even though they may well be. Maybe they have slightly different radio parts. We don't know. So we couldn't make a good guess at the processor. And it's also possible that that is a misreport that we saw, and that there's something weird going on. So it was just really hard to say.
Interesting. That would be awesome because Nexus devices are usually like the last phones to come out on a certain SoC platform. It would be nice to actually get newish hardware that's not on its way out the door.
Yeah, and I think that part of the reason for this is, I would say it's probably likely it's an 821 and an 823, and maybe the reason is I feel like the early 820 devices maybe not so hot. So maybe these revision chips were necessary to sort out some issues. But yeah, we just couldn't say for certain.
Cool.
But we are pretty confident that it will be a 5.5-inch screen AMOLED. Yes.
Yep, 5.5-inch Quad HD. 3450 milliamp hour battery, 12 megapixel rear camera, 8 megapixel front, which is nice having the big selfie camera. And we are very confident that the phones are going to look very, very alike. So that much we do know. So these are going to be probably more of like the iPhone Plus kind of, design business model thing, where one is basically the same as the other, smaller screen, lower resolution, smaller battery, but otherwise the same. And obviously lower cost. Oh, and the other weird thing is, so I'm not sure how confident we are on this. I feel like we're pretty confident that there's only going to be 2 storage models, 32 gigabyte and 128 gigabyte.
Oh, okay. Are they going to be super cheap or?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
None at all.
I mean, I imagine the lower end one will probably be fairly cheap. I mean, that was the big complaint last year with the 5X, that it was too expensive.
Yeah. I would think that I would not be surprised if they just end up being 400 and 500 respectively to start, but that's a complete guess.
I feel like that would be too close together.
I feel like everything is too expensive unless it's free.
Yeah, so I would say, especially for the smaller one, if it's going to have the same SoC, cameras, and storage options and everything else, it's going to be hard to shave more than $100
Do we know that it's going to be the same SoC?
We're pretty confident in that. It's possible they might be 821 and 823, but we're thinking that they're probably going to be the same chips.
Well, hopefully they can get under 400 with the small one.
I'm not confident that's going to happen.
$399 counts, I guess.
Yeah, so we'll see. And then the 128 GB version thing. Some people said, "Oh, so why don't they have a 64? Because I don't need 128. I just want 64." And the answer is almost certainly it just comes down to scalability in terms of production and supply. How much supply Google can hold of different SKUs or not SKUs, but different storage models of the same phone. It doesn't make sense to have 3 storage models for a phone that sells in the volume Nexus does.
In 2016, I don't really know why 256 gigabytes is not the minimum.
Good.
Oh, and the RAM's the same. Somebody was just saying in chat that the RAM might be different. No, they're both 4 gigabytes of RAM. Feel pretty confident in that.
Interesting.
So I guess there's also the possibility that because the smaller one has low resolution display and it's smaller, they could actually perform faster than the bigger one. But I would also not be surprised if it's tuned more for power efficiency and that they're going to kind of try to get parallel in terms of performance to keep the battery life a little, closer to one another.
Equally bad.
Well, the Nexus 6P's battery life is okay,
but I think it's cool that they're doing this. I mean, this is what people have always wanted every manufacturer to do, right? Like make a smaller phone that doesn't have terrible specs compared to the big version.
Yeah, it is literally what people ask for.
But I mean, do that many people really want that, or is it just really loud people want that?
Well, I think it's that Apple has done it and shown that it works.
And regardless of that, it's just a better experience. Like whether people identify it as being that or not, they are experiencing the device differently, which is better.
I'm more inclined, I have a 5X as my daily driver, but now I'm more inclined to have a bigger phone now that I can do split screen stuff, and now that you can adjust the display size on Android N, it makes
really cool
bigger
feature.
phones way better.
Yeah. The split screen stuff I used once on an airplane, and it was cool for an hour.
I was shocked. I used it the other day. It doesn't work. Really putting it through its paces. You could have maps open in a separate thing, and it doesn't update if it's not the quote unquote foreground app. You have to tap on it, and then your arrow will jump forward.
Yeah. As a developer, there's
countdown and
really a lot to do.
Yeah.
To actually get things to work.
Hopefully we have some other stuff to cover. So hopefully we'll have more to share with you about Nexus phones next week.
Yep.
Sweet. Good.
In the meantime, we've got some things that might be sported on the front of those Nexus phones, like a new home button, navigation keys, looking a little bit different potentially than what we've seen in the past. Let me pull up the pictures here, because I feel like you don't get the full picture unless you've got the full picture.
You know what I was thinking as I was looking before this rumor came out? I was looking at my 6P. And I was looking at the burn-in on the bottom of the screen from the navigation buttons.
As I'm sure you do all the time, every day.
I thought to myself, this burn-in is really great, but what I wish is that the burn-in had completely filled in shapes and not these outlines. And now I can have that.
That makes it easier to see, and that's what you want. Obviously.
Right, exactly. I need to know where those buttons were, especially if they change the position of the buttons again. That's what I really want.
Just by a few pixels? Yeah, good.
Oh man!
Behold the glory. So this is a Google branded system UI, isn't it? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and so apparently, according to sources familiar with the matter, this is still being considered inside Google. It's not a firm thing yet, so we don't know if this is actually going to happen. It is one exploration. That is occurring. So, but we feel like this has gotten pretty far along. This has gotten far enough that they have an animation for the home button where all the colors fly out and and then now on tap pops up and.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if the color thing is just when you do now on tap, I can live with that. If it were all colorful like that anytime you pressed it, that would be very annoying.
Or just all the time, in every single app, it's just always colors.
I don't know. Maybe it's me. If it did it fast when I pressed it, I probably would never even see it.
No, I'm so happy about this, and I hope it is I hope it's like dynamic. I hope it like changes when you just kind of do stuff because the buttons are on the screen. There's no reason for them to be static. They should definitely move around and do stuff and like let you know when Google has stuff that it can do on your phone or something. Like they treat these like they're hardware buttons and they're not, and they should really take advantage of them being pixels instead of paint.
Yeah, I'm
I will
curious to see if
say-
they'll go with this.
The
I'm a
iPhone
little bit
still-
apprehensive when you use the term the buttons should move around because the buttons should definitely not move around.
They should move constantly in a
I mean,
swirling motion.
They're doing a little bit more now that the overview button changes into a split screen thing,
Right, yeah.
which is cool. But you know, Apple has a hardware home button, and they have found like 80 things for that to do. So I can only imagine what it could do if it was software.
But like it would be nice to know when the back button is going to exit an app versus when it's going to just go back inside of an app.
That's
I don't know
the
about
thing.
that.
Like we've all speculated that Google could do things like this ever since Ice Cream Sandwich,
Yeah.
and they never have.
I mean,
That article got me hired actually at Android.
the thing is, the idealist in me wants to believe that people will start respecting the back button and what it's supposed to do, which is supposed to consistently take you back to the last screen that you saw. So, like, if that behavior were consistent, that would be great, but it's not. And I think that's the issue. So maybe Google has the same mentality of, like, it's not the back button's fault, it's everybody else's fault.
Great.
Well, I mean, Google has given everybody the power to abuse the button, though. I mean,
Right,
that's
yeah.
part of what it comes down to.
It shouldn't be an option. But
Well,
I don't
you
know.
need to for games. Like you need to have the back button in a game, pause the game, and open a menu, which is not quote unquote back. But
No,
other than
what?
that, it should pretty
You
much
don't.
work like a browser back button.
You don't need that at all. What?
You just need a button in the game.
Well,
Yeah.
I
What?
guess.
that's a pause button.
But that was the
Okay,
that
well,
was the
but-
justification I get when I complain about the back button.
But the back button should not like leave the game because technically that like going back a screen would leave the game, and I don't think that's what you want it to do
If
either.
you came
that's
into the
not-
game from another screen in the game, then yes, it should go back to that screen. But it shouldn't just be a pause button.
What was
So
the
you're
last
starting
move
the
date?
level
Like,
over?
Yeah,
Which one?
like the,
Okay,
the
so the
main,
first
the main
thing is-
menu, quit your game. Is that what we think it should do?
in
I
an
don't
ideal
do
world
that.
memory
I would say
management
yes,
is good
because-
enough that that's not an issue.
I would say yes because like the game is full screen, so you have to do work to get to that button in the first place.
I mean, it's maybe full screen. Not all games do that.
Well, if it's
Some
not
of them
full
just
screen,
use-
that's
some
the
of them
game's
just
fault,
use some of them
not
just do the
Backbutton's
lights
fault.
out thing. Look, but at any rate, there are instances I can imagine where you accidentally hit the back button in a game and you don't want it to like instantly leave.
Got to be more careful. That's what I say.
We was just just watch your fingers. Your clumsy
I am
fingers. It's your
relentless
fault.
on this back button issue.
Stop touching shit, Liam Spratman.
It's 20.
Like just look at your phone. Don't actually touch it or use it. Just marvel at the beauty of the back button.
Yeah,
And know
just
that if you
deal.
pressed it, it would always do the same thing. But don't actually.
Exactly. If you don't
Your
want it to
phone
do
would
that,
never
don't make it
hurt
do
you
that.
if you stop touching it.
Anyways,
So I guess the good news is that in the very near future, it's likely that if you're playing a game, what's that?
you're presenting to
You're
everyone.
you're showing our spreadsheet.
Oh,
Now
I can't do
you
that. That's
ruined
top
the
secret.
surprise. Now
Spoiler
everybody
alert.
knows.
Baseball is too inside, Matt.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing we took all those secrets off the spreadsheet.
All
Yeah,
of them.
good thing. All the secrets. All right, so the good news is if you're playing your game and you hit back and it exits the game and you don't know how that happened or what you should do, soon you're going to have an option for live support on your phone directly on the Nexus device. Assuming this is going to look kind of like the live support that Amazon offers, I'm guessing. Is that,
Mayday? Yeah, it's Mayday.
Mayday, yes.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, so initially when Android Silver was about to come out, there was a rumor, maybe released by us, that said, hey, Google's also working on this thing called Hangouts Assistant, where you get to talk to somebody and they can like take over your phone and talk to you and help you, fix your stuff. And then Android Silver, went away. when they
Right when
got
that
rid
one
of-
guy in charge of it.
Yeah, when
quit.
that one guy who was, the leading the whole initiative left Google.
And then everybody
And-
realized, hey, nobody else actually wants to do this.
And then the Hangouts team, being the Hangouts team, were like, wait, we don't have to build this anymore? Great, forget about it. It never existed. And then they promptly left it alone forever. And so there is now supposedly going to be a live screen sharing kind of replacement for that idea. I shouldn't say replacement, a evolution of that idea. So you will be able to share your screen with the support agent, the Google support agent. The app is called Google Support, I believe. And the icon is a Hangouts icon without the quotes, and it's blue and has a question mark.
Nice.
Yeah, I was going to say it has a question mark. That's very important, David. Come on.
Very important. And I feel pretty confident this is going to debut with the new Nexus phones. And it'll be a thing, and they'll make a thing out of it. And if you're wondering, are all Android phones going to get this? No, of course not, because Google doesn't have unlimited support agents to control your phone.
I can't wait to show the support agent my hot new app. They're going to learn all about it.
It's like you're just going to accidentally, like, oops, I'm just doing this app that I designed.
No,
Just 1
I
second.
wasn't. No, I was not going to be subtle. I was going to contact them with the express purpose of showing them my app.
I'm sure they'll get that all the time.
I'm just gonna connect to them and show them our spreadsheet.
You guys, you'll never get.
You'll never guess what.
Did everybody's audio just cut out there for a second?
Well, I think
Might not.
Liam
Are
just
people
froze.
frozen?
Oh,
I
there we
think
go. Liam's
Well,
back.
Liam was
To
frozen
me-
a little bit.
To me, everyone else looked frozen.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
everyone froze over here too.
This is
that's,
like
well, that's just a New York problem.
That
Definitely.
was
This is like
Hangouts
a-
hiccup.
dystopian story.
Okay,
I don't
so anyway, this screen share thing, if you had asked me about it, I would be like, oh no, that's totally not possible. They don't have an API for that. Like, is there a way to
There's
actually
a way to do it.
do this? I mean, you can record video and you could like ship it, but
No, there's totally a way to do it. I mean, so one thing, I mean, you know Kosh's visor, but there's another way that I can't talk about, but it's a thing.
oh
can do
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you design this app, Liam? Is that what's going on?
Visor or the secret thing that I can't talk about?
The secret thing that you can't talk about. No, this Google app, you designed it for Google. Is that what
Oh
happened?
yeah, for Google, sure.
Okay.
For Visor also, but I don't think it's been fully implemented. But the secret thing as well. Yeah, all of it, basically everything.
Okay,
You name it, I designed it. Yep.
good.
Liam actually designed the buttons that are going to be in Android, and that's actually how
Yeah.
we know what they look like. Liam is the source. Sorry.
I would have appreciated not being called out, but it's out there, so.
I mean, you gotta own it. You gotta take responsibility for that.
I do design secrets, Techroid, that's right.
That should be your new lower third.
Liam Craft's artisanal secrets.
Cody, I didn't design my TS, I just designed his shirts.
All right, so next thing, Android N, as we're hearing it, is not going to feature. We talked a little bit about the multi-window support. It's going to basically be what it is now. There's been a lot of talk, consideration if you're going to have sizable windows like Windows does, but also actually Samsung's multi-window approach allows you to resize windows as well. And it's starting to really look like the Nexuses are not actually going to have fully sizable windows. Rather, just the split screens we've seen in the developer previews so far,
Do you mean like freeform windows?
like freeform windows.
Yeah. I think that the thing is, like, from a development perspective, that's going to be very hard to do, and it's going to annoy a lot of people because it's like opt out essentially. So if you take no action, then your app is like at the mercy of whatever people want to do with your window, and then
Yeah.
things break and like things don't work as users expect, and then you get bad reviews and stuff.
Liam,
So
what
there's-
I'm hearing from you is that Google is inevitably going to implement this in Chrome OS, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah,
Whatever
you know,
happens, happens, but you just gotta, like, people need to know about this. Like, there has to be a lead time on it, because otherwise, like, people are gonna start getting bad reviews, everybody's gonna be mad about everything.
Does
It's just gonna
this
be bad.
cause that many problems? Because I mean, your app
Yes.
is kind of being resized anyway via differently sized phone screens.
No, it still causes problems, because, like, from a support perspective, like you were saying, like, things don't happen in your app that people expect to happen.
Well, and the other
in a
thing
windowed
is,
environment.
the other thing is, my understanding is that when you have a different size screen, it checks to see what your DPI rating is and displays it in a certain method, whereas your DPI rating doesn't change when you resize the window.
There are also layout issues related to such things.
Yeah,
So
it's kind of
with-
like you think like, oh, well, Windows says this, but Windows has been doing this for like 30 years, and
Yeah.
maybe people are used to it at this point.
I mean,
But-
and if you do this on a Samsung phone, to do like the floating window thing, a lot of apps just refuse to do it. Like you just get a little toast message that says this app does not support whatever Samsung calls it. I forget.
Yeah,
But
everything Samsung does is like that though, because they're not an ecosystem builder. So
Because even, I mean, okay, so I won't say who, but I was talking to somebody the other day who wanted to lock an app in Portrait. So even that, like, is sometimes a battle. So designing
Wow.
something that truly fits across the continuum of, like, literally every window size and shape is an investment that a lot of people do not want to make. So
Now, I will say
think
the
it's convincing.
Samsung implementation. I was just checking it right now. It only allows you to scale within the ratio. Which
oh,
probably,
interesting. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay.
yeah,
that's perhaps a better idea. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, no, I think limiting phones and stuff to split screen is reasonable. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you'd want multi-window on a tablet or something, but
yeah. I mean, like on a Pixel C, I might like to have like a little floating app that isn't taking up half of the screen.
yeah. But I mean, they're using all of this for Chrome OS anyway, right? So
Yeah. I think,
as a developer, you need to deal right now anyway.
yeah, you need to, but will people? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think, to your point, Ryan, I think Google would like to have a floating window on the Pixel C too, but it just didn't happen that way.
Frankly, I think Google would like to have Chrome OS on the Pixel C, but
Yeah.
that didn't
I
happen.
think so too. I think Ron believes similarly.
Yeah, sure. I called it an accidental Android device the other day, I think, in an article. But no, this is going to be super awesome for that Android desktop operating system that they're totally building, and that I'm definitely going to switch to. Right? That's happening.
Yeah, that's happening right when they
That
merge.
sounds like a
Android
terrible
and-
experience. I don't want that ever, never. It's an experiment I don't want to be a part of.
You know what I want? I want like a touchscreen desktop computer that the keyboard, it comes with a keyboard, but it's only 3 buttons and it's back home and overview.
You have to reach up to the screen to type.
I kind of want to draw that and like make it a thing.
Oh, that would be kind of amazing.
All right, so let's talk about a little rumor going around from the Telegraph this week about a Google non-Nexus device supposedly going to be released this year. And by non-Nexus, I think the implication is that this will be a more akin to a Pixel C, something where Google is actually handling the manufacturing themselves rather than partnering with some other company, which isn't entirely true because it's not like they have Googlers sitting there putting everything together. But
I cooked a delicious salmon fillet on the grain of salt that I took this with.
So
you underseasoned your food then.
I don't want to say I regret writing this story. I don't feel that regret's the right emotion at this point in time.
You're just really happy you didn't bet a pie on it.
I am happy I didn't bet a pie.
There's still time, David. It's
There's still. It's,
Would you like to put a pie on it?
yeah.
would you like to put a pie on anything?
No,
is my
look.
question.
Look, I wrote a thing too. I think it is completely reasonable to think that this is a dumb, false rumor. It makes no sense for Google to do. That doesn't mean they won't do it, but it makes no sense for them to do it.
I think it might
I
be.
agree.
I think it might be a misunderstanding of certain information that became this rumor.
That's the other thing.
Maybe.
This reporting was not super great because, like, if you're going to say that Google's building a phone itself, you need to have a paragraph that explicitly says, this is not Project Tango, this is not Project Aura. Like, you need to list every like thing that people could interpret this as, because a lot of commenters have been like, oh well, this is just the Aura phone that they're totally going to build and release, right? And it's like, it doesn't really read like that.
No, it's not the Aura phone. It's definitely not that, because the Aura phone's going to come out in developer form.
It's never going to
this
come
year.
out ever. And it's
Yeah, well,
it's on arrival
supposedly
when
the
it
dev
does.
You know
Aura
what?
phones.
I totally believe that phone is going to come out as a developer device, and then it's just going to go away.
Yeah, that's how I
Right.
feel about it too. And then as far as Tango phones, no, I think they've got the Lenovo phone, and that's what they want to put their money on for now. But I would say that, so this sounds like a terrible idea. It doesn't make sense, especially if you're going to be kind of polishing up the Nexus line this year to be, relatively high end and to have this nice little business model of good little phone, good big phone, and then release another phone a couple months later or a few months later that then kind of undermines this. Well, that doesn't make any sense, does it?
And like people point to the Pixel and the Pixel C as evidence for this, but like when they released the Pixel C, they weren't competing against another Android Nexus tablet. There wasn't a Nexus tablet that year.
Yeah, that's another great point about why this makes no sense whatsoever. And yet, and Google is not a company that this feels like maybe there could be this A/B test going on, or maybe this is something that just hasn't been canceled yet that probably should have been. I don't know. So we're kind of waiting to see what happens here at this
I think
point.
that sort of thing happens all the time, though, in Google. Like, they're working on something, and it's an experiment, and they decide not to do it.
I think we can all agree that if this actually is going to happen, it's not going to happen like now. It's not going to be like, here are 2 new Nexus phones. Also, here's another phone. It'll happen like.
By the way.
in a few months, maybe like at the end of the year, if it's going to happen.
Well, I don't get like what they think they're going to accomplish, because I feel like the high-end hardware market is fairly well addressed.
I just want I want the presentation for the Nexus phones. I want like Hiroshi Lockheimer to have a slide that's like the Apple One More Thing slide, but it says one more phone.
After 2 hours of a Nexus presentation, it's, oh, by the way, we're gonna release this Google phone next month. Bye.
Yeah.
What were we like? I don't get how they think they're gonna differentiate this from a new Nexus phone or from any other phone. Like it needs to be radically different if you're going to build your own phone from the ground.
Slap a light bar on that sucker and you're ready to go.
That seems to be the Pixel team's main strategy. So I would, if I were, to kind of theorize why this would happen, it would be that the Pixel team has enough autonomy in Google's hardware division to ignore whatever the Nexus team is doing and to say we're going to do this, and it doesn't matter what the Nexus team is doing.
Didn't they just hired the guy from Motorola to manage all of their hardware?
Right, Rick
Osterloh.
So, like, presumably, he would come in and say, hey, now hold on. This is a bad idea. You shouldn't do this. And it's my job to tell you not to do this, so...
So my understanding is that he's the gatekeeper of hardware at Google now. And all these people have to come and talk to him if they want to release something.
I mean, he just started this job, like, that was just like a month ago, right?
Yeah, it was not long ago.
So,
Probably.
I mean, it's entirely possible that this was totally a thing that was going to happen until like 3 weeks ago.
No, because he said the Google Home thing is the first product from the hardware team, so they've definitely been around long enough to actually make a product.
I mean, Google's had industrial designers.
I think
for a while,
that's the first thing he greenlit. Maybe this was an
Okay,
initiative.
maybe.
He got there. Oh, we're building this thing or whatever, Rick, and he's like, oh, that sounds good. All right.
Yeah, sure.
And it's okay. Let's go with that because the home is from the people who did Chromecast and OnHub, so it's kind of.
It looks
mixed,
like it's from the same team.
Yeah, and it is. So there's this thing on Recode earlier today, I think, about this, and yeah, they're like. Because what happened was people made Chromecast wanted this to be like an evolution of Chromecast, I guess, is kind of Alexa functionality. And then when Alexa came out, they're like, oh, why didn't we do that? And then they started doing this. And yeah
I mean, I'm just saying what he told me when I talked to him at I/O, but sure, Recode. Okay.
Okay, Raj just has first-hand information, but like whatever.
You just went up and talked to
Big
Rick
deal.
Osterloh. I saw him eating lunch, and I was like, "Should I talk to Rick Osterloh?" And I was like, "Nah."
He's probably so sick of talking to sweaty nerds all day. I'll just
Yeah,
let
but
him eat.
it is completely believable that they were doing this because Google had industrial designers already that worked on Nexus and Chromecast and Nexus Q. Very sad. Stuff like that. It's just now it seems like they're more prominent and organized within the company. So I think it's completely possible that this was in development. And
I mean,
Right,
they have
come along.
chosen to not do this in the past because it will piss off OEMs. It will piss off HTC, who's trying to build Nexus devices and sell them. It would probably piss off customers if it was enough of a surprise and they went out and bought Nexus devices and a Google phone came out next month. It doesn't seem cool.
And yet, Google, the company who is coming out with a new chat app to replace the other chat apps,
Two
they've been telling
chat
us-
apps.
but it doesn't actually even replace it, right? Because it doesn't
Yeah,
use
of course
Hangouts.
not. It just
So
supplements it, Liam. It's just a little more. If you just
So-
want that bit extra.
I have complicated feelings about this, as AP staff already know. I feel like Google is a company full of companies who are born and live and die the same way as most businesses. But since they're all under the Google umbrella, Google gets a lot of crap for releasing like a bunch of messaging apps, even though a lot of them aren't technically messaging apps. They're just apps that have messaging. But this is truly mystifying to me because Allo does not communicate with Hangouts, this thing that they've like spent so much time trying to get people to use. But Allo is like way cooler.
Well, I think Hangouts is, of course, from the Hangouts team, the Google Plus people, and Allo is from Google Search. So, right?
Sure, like they're totally from different things, but I think in this one case, like
And okay,
Something
remind
should have
me.
been
Okay,
discussed.
let's put an earmark in this. I have to tell you guys something after the show. I can't say it on air, but I
Wait,
can.
let me make a
I need
note.
to take notes of
Earmark.
everything that
David
everyone's
has
going
an
to tell
Allo
me.
thing
Okay, hold on.
because
So let's see. David had a secret. Liam had a secret.
oh yeah, I have secrets.
Okay.
I'll try to think of a secret, but I don't know if I have.
I'm making a note in this.
Well, actually,
spreadsheet
I do have sort of a lame secret you saw before the show. So
There we go. It's bold, underlined with a red background and white
Okay,
text.
well, I better not share the spreadsheet again because
Okay.
we don't want the audience to see that. All right, I think it's time to move on to rumor roundup. Of course, we've got Galaxy Note 7 rumors. Evan Blast confirming, of course, the name would be Galaxy Note 7 because counting
good.
is for suckers.
They should have just called it the Galaxy
okay,
Note 1.
all right.
Wait, is
okay,
is it
I say
Roman
bring up-
numeral though, or?
No.
or
you know
it's
what
just
though?
numbers.
I'm cool with the Note 7 because now everybody that's been like doing crappy SEO spam for Note 6 is screwed, and I like that.
That's fun, but okay. So something that I realized the other day when we posted something else unrelated, Samsung already made a Galaxy Note 8. It was a tablet from 2
That's
years
right.
ago.
Yeah.
Was
So
that
they
just
can't
called? Wait,
make
was
a
that
Note
just
8.
called? Was that just called Note 8?
Galaxy Note 8.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
amazing.
They're gonna have to
Okay.
switch to Roman numerals for that one.
They're gonna
That's how
have
you
to
fix it.
probably just call it the Note 2017 or something, or
here's-
like we're done making notes.
Or
No,
That's
it's
it.
like,
everybody.
it's like Microsoft. You
Not
skip
making
it,
notes.
skip it and go to 9.
Okay, here's the most important question about the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. Will there be a space between Note and 7?
It doesn't look
Oh,
like it.
that's right.
Probably
Subscript,
not, because
superscript is the
Samsung
same
doesn't.
size.
Ever
Yeah.
since Samsung insisted on not capitalizing the Edge in Galaxy S7 Edge, I've just given up any hope of understanding how. the
So
name
I will
goes.
say in the image that that EV posted, there is very clearly not a space between the E and the 7.
Whoa.
So it's an unpronounceable, non-real word.
It looks like the Galaxy Notel.
Oh my god.
Maybe next year they do Galaxy Note 7S instead.
Ugh.
Galaxy S Note 7.
I feel unclean.
Oh, hey, so about this Google phone stuff, I know I'm messing with your spreadsheet, but how sure are we that all this stuff that you guys attribute to Nexus devices should not instead be attributed to the Google phone? Like all the support stuff and the fancy new, notification bar and.
Nah,
I
it's
think we
definitely
have-
Nexus phones.
Yeah,
It's
we don't have
definitely
any
Nexus.
evidence to suggest that it's not Nexus phones, as far as I know.
Yeah, we don't.
The whole world is topsy-turvy now. I don't know what's going on.
It is. And then the other part, let's just get this thing out of the way. Samsung has a new UI for the Note. It's Note's
I
Grace
wouldn't
UI.
say new. No, I wouldn't say new.
It is
This
it's
is
slightly altered.
the
guys-
notification panel is a different color, and the clock app looks like something from a totally different operating system.
this is
That's what they
finally the year when Samsung is deep loading TouchWiz.
The,
This is it.
the settings are like actually pretty weird though.
For sure, it's
It's
time.
just like one long, like unseparated list.
Has Samsung's settings ever not been weird?
No, usually they have views. There are multiple settings views to choose from.
Yeah, and then the different carriers choose which stupid view they want and won't let you then
They're
choose
not all
between
together.
them. Yeah, so yeah, it's going to look different on the Note 7 because of course it is. They always use the Note line to unveil the new kind of software
Yeah,
aesthetic every year.
And then they usually push an update to the Galaxy S phones.
Yeah, the Note is the Galaxy Note at this point. To me, my theory is the Galaxy Note exists entirely as a giant user experience test for Samsung. That's just why they make it.
Will
Just to
you
get
be able to
feedback.
put the stylus in backwards? And will it get
prob-
stuck?
Oh,
Probably
I
not.
can all but guarantee that is fixed.
But it was never a defect though, right? Right?
No,
It's a great choice on the part of Samsung. Who would even do such a thing?
Certainly no fool would intentionally do that on video on the internet.
Of course not.
You know, it's funny. I'm literally doing it.
Please don't.
I'm literally doing it. Like I'm just thinking. I wonder how far
No.
in it has to
Please
go.
That's why people broke their phones. Is they're like, that can't be true.
Is
I
that
better
the
check
game
my
now?
phone
Is
right now?
Is it
Multiple
stylus
people do
roulette?
that.
Like you shove it in and see if it'll come out?
It's less far than you think.
I still have my Note 5 stylus sitting here on my desk. It is. Wait, just dropped
The
it.
top
It is,
and bottom half?
it is sans cap. There's no cap on the top anymore because it's lodged inside the phone forever. I would have to disassemble it, and yeah.
Nice.
So that's my memento.
All right. So I believe we have a word from our sponsor.
Yes, we do.
Have you ever wondered who hosts AndroidPolice.com? No? Well, I'm about to tell you anyways because of this week's podcast sponsor, Linode. And Android Police has been hosted on Linode for over 5 years now, and we've been very happy with them. And that really is a big part of why they're this week's podcast sponsor, because we can recommend them wholeheartedly. For being a listener of the Android Police podcast, you can get a $20 Linode service credit if you go to linode.com/AndroidPolice. That is L-I-N as in no, O-D as in dog, E.com/AndroidPolice. And that $20 credit isn't a credit you can't use. That gets you 2 months of service on Linode's base tier, which costs $10 a month. Everything's billed hourly, but if you price it out per month, it's $10 per month for that basic tier. And that gets you a gigabyte of RAM, a CPU core, 24 gigs of SSD storage, 2 terabytes of transfer capacity, 40 gigabits per second in connection on the network, and 125 megabits per second out, all for just $10 a month. Linode offers a variety of plans that scale all the way from 1 gigabyte of RAM and 1 CPU core to 96 gigabytes of RAM and 20 CPU cores. So they have something there for everybody, depending on your server needs. Linode has state-of-the-art servers. They've recently switched from Zen to KVM virtualization, which provided Unix benchmark increases of over 300% for virtual server performance. So they are fast. And that native SSD storage, coupled with a 40 gigabit network and processors, which are the new Intel E5 Xeon processors, which are very fast, offer you cutting-edge servers for not really all that high of a price. You get 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week support, even on holidays. There's a 7-day money-back guarantee for any service, and you can get a server running in under a minute. There are add-on services available for backups, node balancers, and Longview. Everything there to really meet your needs for a server. And like I said, if you head to linode.com/AndroidPolice and sign up today, you'll get that $20 credit. You can check out what Linode's all about. I mean, they host Android Police, and we like them. So what have we got to lose?
What indeed? What indeed? So thanks for Linode for sponsoring us this week. In the meantime, we're going to move on to the hot sheet where we have a brand new $189 Chromebook from HP. So this is interesting. Cheap, obviously. 11-inch G5 with 12.5 hours of battery life, which is pretty good. The thing that is interesting to me is they're saying that this is going to be able to run Android apps, but the touchscreen is optional. So there aren't currently any Chromebooks that run Android apps that don't have touchscreens, are there?
There's only one. Yeah, there's only one so far. But there are a number of Chromebooks on the list of eventually supported with for Android apps that don't have touchscreens or that are optional for touchscreens.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't work on the Pixel though. Their flagship Chromebook.
Which
no
is
Android
like
apps
designed
on that.
for the future and what's next and everything.
Yeah, people maybe bought that.
Not yet.
People maybe bought that thinking they get access to good features, first, but no.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that the Chromebook Flip is ARM and that the two other ones they announced are x86.
I will bring you like 5 Intel Android devices in the other room, like right now. Like it's not a huge problem.
That's what it has to do with. I guarantee, because it wouldn't make sense. The Chromebook Flip is popular, sure, but it has a crappy rock chip in it. Like it's not fast. It's not a good experience for the Android apps for the most part. And the Chromebook Pixel would be infinitely better. It's so much faster. It has a much higher resolution display. It's prettier. It would be the perfect device to debut on. And yet. So yeah, this new HP Chromebook, $189. I guess it looks nice. You have to get the touch screen if you're going to do Android apps. Like you would not want that.
Even if it's very hard and would take extra time, what is the rationale for going with the Flip first? Is it that ARM was the easier one to do?
I assume so, because Android is optimized for ARM in the first place.
Okay.
I mean, they have it will run just fine on Intel, and there is there's like a binary translation thing built into Android where if you don't have Intel binaries, we will make them for you, and it's not really that much slower. There's no reason for it to not work. I don't understand, but okay.
Probably bugs.
Yeah, but Android works fine with a mouse and keyboard. I've done it. You can hook up a mouse and keyboard with some fancy USB cables or Bluetooth or whatever.
Yeah, but Windows works fine with touch too. But that's if you don't want to use it that way.
No, see, you can go in the other direction. You can go from touch to mouse and keyboard because that's more precise. But going from mouse and keyboard to touch is less precise, and that kind of really sucks.
Yeah, I also feel like a lot of the material components, because they intended for it to be a cross-platform design methodology, are already kind of they kind of work for both. They're generous enough that you can both click on them or touch them if you need to.
Yeah, if you have not tried it, I really suggest trying it because it's pretty good. It's really not bad.
I mean, just go to Google+. That's what it is, basically. That demonstrates.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that on especially a small laptop with a touchpad. Now, if you're using an actual external mouse, probably the mouse is quicker. But if using the touchpad, touching the screen is actually probably faster in a lot of touch apps because the touch targets are so large.
I did have a real mouse.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it makes a big difference. I think it makes
pretty
more
fast
of a
on
difference.
trackpad.
But the Chromebook Flip has a very tiny trackpad, so.
Well, and let's
And
be
it's
honest,
not a
trackpads
pretty one.
just suck in general.
Well, yeah, how
Mac
good your trackpad
trackpads
is.
are good, but every other
I'm
trackpad
actually-
sucks.
Yeah. I was going to say I'm using a trackpad right now, but it's the Apple Magic thing.
Yeah, I'm okay with the Chromebook Pixel trackpad. That's fine.
It's the texture is so nice.
Oh, and then there's the
Wow.
whole thing with gestures. So gestures with the mouse suck. Any app that relies on gestures for primary functionality, like say the official Twitter app.
Which, okay, it probably shouldn't in the first place. Let's be honest.
But
What
yeah, this
gesture
is
do
how
you need
apps
to
are
use on the
built.
Twitter app?
To refresh the feed.
Oh, like pull down? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Anything
yeah,
that
sure.
requires pull down to do anything is like
Shouldn't
a
that be-
nightmare with the mouse.
Shouldn't that be just like over scroll though?
I think it sometimes works, but it's janky, especially
I guess
with
it
the
depends on
touchpad.
how you
because
build
it's
it.
already, it's weird. So you run into all these kinds of weird issues where most developers of Android apps aren't considering this. They aren't looking.
Yeah, because they didn't have a reason to.
Yeah, and so you run into strange issues, especially with certain mainstream apps. So like Snapchat, for example. Snapchat's 100% gesture.
Okay. Snapchat has so many issues beyond any
it does,
kind
but
of.
you can install Snapchat on a Chromebook Flip. Not that I recommend you do, because it's locked in portrait. But yeah, it just goes to show that certain apps are obviously not going to be optimized for this experience.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot. I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of apps that get locked in portrait. That was actually one of the things that disappointed me the most whenever I got my first Nexus 10, and it still does. Where there's still just a lot of apps that just don't.
Instagram.
Right.
Not naming any names. It's ridiculous. I don't understand that. And anybody who says like why should we support landscape, because that's reality. Like that's how the device works. So I don't know. I have a major issue with that. It's my own personal peeve. One of many. I have a collection.
Yeah, it's kind of like saying, but why should I build a car that has brakes in the rear and the front? Like, why can't I just do the front? It's like, no, that's just how it works.
You just have to. It's not. You should be asking why you would do it that way instead of.
And if the answer is it saves me time, that's probably not in and of itself a good justification.
Also, like, no, it doesn't. You know, your layout might look crappy in landscape, but you don't have to do anything. You know.
That's true.
All right, we have a. You know, I almost feel bad for doing this, but we have another Sony Xperia.
Oh man.
That Ryan has reviewed for us this week. So I don't know, Ryan. Just let's do it. Let's do a quick and dirty. The Xperia X Performance.
How many hundreds of dollars overpriced do you feel it is?
So they want $700 for this phone. I mean, I could understand somebody buying it at like $400, but even then, I think the OnePlus 3 is a better phone. Because like the camera on this phone is just irredeemably bad. It shocks me that Sony has such terrible image processing on its phones. And I'm sure they know this. Yeah, that's if you're watching the video, that's like the phone next to the Xperia X, which costs $550. They look almost identical. So what this one has over the X is it's a Snapdragon 820 instead of the 650. It has water-resistant design, and I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, I mean, neither of them have a fingerprint sensor in the U.S., which is really dumb. The volume toggle is under a stupid spot.
Wow, micro USB. What year is it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're both micro USB. I mean, the screen is fine. The battery life is good. But the camera on both phones is just terrible. And I mean, on a $700 phone, the fact that the camera is so bad is just really embarrassing for Sony. It's like they're just like, whatever, we're gonna make phones, and we would like each unit we sell to make a certain amount of money, so we will price it at this number. And also, we're not going to spend time, licensing the fingerprint sensor tech for the U.S. or like, actually developing better camera processing algorithms. We're just going to put it out through whatever we got, and like people will buy it or they won't. And I think by and large they won't, because it's not even remotely worth that amount of money.
Good job, Sony.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the Sony logo, when you look at it so longingly, it just seems so premium.
I mean, it's not even that they don't even like feel like particularly nice phones. I mean, it's got a metal back, and but like the texture is kind of weird. It feels like almost plasticky, and I don't know. And they look like every other Sony phone, which is boring at this point. They're just they're bricks.
The one thing that I think they did a really good job with is making the front look like the back on these home screens. So that's good. I mean,
how old is this design? Like, I feel like Sony has been making phones that look like this for like 4 years.
Okay, these are the most dramatic departure for the Xperia design language in like a long time.
I know, and they're still almost identical. Like the Z5 series was kind of a big change too, because they added the bigger power button on the side that could accommodate the fingerprint sensor. And then, of course, in the US, the Z5 and the X series don't have a fingerprint sensor. which is just bonkers.
So I'm looking at this button layout. Where
Just deep sigh.
I mean,
Wait. Which end is the top?
The
Yeah,
top is the one. The top is the one that doesn't have buttons. At the top of the picture is the top of the phone.
Crap.
wait, so
Yeah,
this is
the volume
so
toggle.
this is the volume rocker.
Toggle is under the power button. And then
How do you do that? What is the gesture to access those buttons? I'm not even.
The gesture is that you use another hand.
The gesture is you
You have
drop
to give
it.
it like a reach around and.
It's
and-
like it's so. Hold on, I have one of these phones sitting around here.
Okay, and by the way, we're talking about the company
Okay.
that put the NFC coil on the front
Yes,
of the phone.
yes. The NFC is on the front of this phone, so this is the back. Like, okay, so this is so you're holding the phone, and if you want to hit the volume toggle, you have to slide your thumb all the way down.
Oh, that phone's going. That's hitting the floor.
Yeah, this is.
It's
like,
gonna fling off in.
Aren't
in
you
It's-
also
it's a
triggering the
bad
camera
thing.
all the time too?
Not that much. I mean, it's a two-step button, so if you just press it down halfway, it doesn't do anything. You have to press it
But
down all the way to
still.
actually launch.
An accidental half
But yeah,
press
so
is just
here's
as
what.
bad.
Okay, here's my theory about the volume toggle. When you're in the camera, you can use that to do digital zoom. So they put it there so that it's sort of accessible next to the
Oh.
shutter button, so you can zoom in and out easier.
So
But like, digital zoom sucks.
Right,
And
that's
you
great
shouldn't
for a
use
feature
it.
you should never
you're
use.
Yeah, it's like-
centering
exactly.
the hardware
It's-
design
it's-
around a
they're
feature
like-
that
They're
isn't even.
screwing up the ergonomics of their phone in the name of a feature that you should not use. It is
Great.
very, very poor planning.
So where is the NFC? How does this?
NFC is right here.
So you can't tell if your Android Pay transaction
Right.
went
So like,
through.
and the best
It's-
part, no fingerprint sensor. So if you want to use Android Pay, you have to put in a PIN or a passcode, and you can't see the screen.
Nice.
So you
That's
basically
great.
can't use
Great.
it.
That's great.
There are just so many like ill-considered things with these phones, and like one or two of these, like whatever. That's every phone has problems, but it's just all these little things that just add up, and it just like at some point you're just like, why is this phone $700? There is no reason other than Sony just wants more money.
And the one thing I will give Sony credit for is that they have the you can get the Android N developer preview on the is it the X?
The Z3.
The Z3, great. So not their 2015 flagship or the 2016 flagship, but the 2014 flagship. You can get Android N on.
Yeah, just for no apparent reasons. I don't know why.
Just totally
But,
random.
I mean, Sony is really friendly for developer stuff. Like they add a lot of code to AOSP, and they you can like unlock bootloaders and stuff. But it's just from a consumer perspective, I just can't see anybody buying these phones, especially the premium.
I just
performance, rather.
I just want to say it that anytime, and I don't know if this is still a thing, but anytime that somebody points towards there being a Sony Nexus device, just show them the NFC functionality on this phone.
I think people finally gave up on that like a year and a half ago. I think they finally said, all right, probably a bad idea.
Probably not going to happen. Well, I mean, at least we'd know what it would look like.
I guess.
There'd be no mystery there. All right, well, we got one last little bit of news to cover before we end for the night. That's HTC, the Vive, which has been extremely well received VR product from HTC. Apparently, it's not going to be HTC specifically anymore. Ooh, there's Ron's showing his off there. Very nice. So apparently they are now splitting the Vive off into a separate subsidiary so that, you know what, there's a reason. There's a business reason. I'm going to let David explain it because I'm sure he understands it better than I do.
I mean, it's just so in the event that HTC probably does what HTC is likely to do statistically, which is go bankrupt, then say, we have this shiny VR company that's doing great. Who wants to buy it? And then they can, sell it off, and it'll be, insulated from HTC's debt and debtors, I guess, or the creditors. So that's probably why they're doing this, and to just kind of separate the image of Vive from the image of HTC. Whereas the image of Vive is, emerging and strong and good, and the image of HTC is kind of like, a small turd floating down the toilet bowl. It's, it's so. Yeah, makes sense.
It's interesting to me because I feel like when the Vive was first announced, everybody was like, "What the hell is HTC doing here? This is not their market. This is not what they do." And now it's like turning out like, "Well, hey, that's the one thing they're doing pretty well."
That's surprising because like Oculus has been trying to do this for years, and HTC was just like, "Hey, actually, we could probably do this," and everybody's like,
that's still a valid line of thinking because my hot take, which has been submitted to arstechnica.com and will be online tomorrow.
I haven't heard of this website. Is this a new site?
It's up and coming tech site. HTC still has no business making VR hardware, and it's kind of crazy that they want to spin this company off because like the Vive exists because of Valve, and HTC. While yes, they have branding on the Vive, their role in this is basically like Foxconn's role in making the iPhone. Like HTC is a manufacturer, but like Valve built the Lighthouse technology that makes it run. Valve designed the controller. They did all the R&D for all of this technology. It's Valve software. HTC like put it together and maybe made the plastic, which is probably the worst part of the Vive. And they have no business being in the VR market. Like it's Samsung display technology and all this Valve hardware and HTC. It's going to be like cell phones, where Samsung's going to come along in a few years and crush them, and they have no reason to think they're successful in VR.
HTC gonna be mad at you?
That's fine.
I mean, at least it's.
It makes sense to me. That's what I'd always heard all along was that Valve, did most of the legwork, and HTC is just, we put it in CAD and made it physically work.
And the reason I think the reason that they got branding on it is that Valve doesn't necessarily want to make hardware. Like they are a software company. They want Steam VR to work, and they needed somebody to make the hardware so that they could kind of kickstart all their Steam VR stuff. So they were like, here, HTC, here's a design for VR. Go build it. You can take all the credit because we want Steam to be like an open hardware ecosystem.
Yeah, maybe. They do make a Steam controller, though. So
right, and that's another like weird thing where they need to kickstart an ecosystem that's not an Xbox controller.
Yeah, they tried that with the Steam boxes, though.
Have any of you guys actually used the Steam controller?
No, I have an Xbox controller.
I used it shortly after it was announced at GDC. It was really weird, and the games I was playing obviously weren't the best examples.
This is close. It's got the little trackpad going on it. It's weird. It's fine. I mean, most games treat it as like a scroll wheel or as 4 buttons, so you don't really. I mean, it's versatile, I guess. It's fine.
It's fine. Just always, it seemed interesting, and I wanted to try it, and then I remember that I don't like play games, so just haven't made it work yet. All right. Well, hey, you know what, guys? We don't have any emails this week. No home screens, no emails.
No antiques, nothing.
No antiques, nothing.
Well, you guys, I mean, the listeners have let us down.
They have let us down. I feel very let down. Yeah. Let down. That's a good word for it. So I guess if you're feeling like you need to make it up to us, you could do it by sending stuff to podcast@androidpolice.com. You can also give us a call and ask us questions on our fabulous voicemail system, which has been underappreciated as well. 530-HELLO-AP. That is 530-435-5627. You can also find us on Twitter @AndroidPolice and on Google Plus and Facebook.
And thank you again to Linode for sponsoring the Android Police podcast. You can check them out at linode.com/AndroidPolice to get a free $20 Linode service credit. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and stop our broadcast now.